This is Ellie, the bearded dragon. Now, she probably looks pretty bad right now, but this is actually the best that she's looked in quite a while. So today I wanted to go over how we got her, how she was when she came in, her backstory, and what we've done to essentially save her from dying, because we thought she was dead originally. So it's a fun story. Before we get into this very sad, very sick beardy, there's lots of happy, healthy beardies now available at emeraldscales.com if you're looking for one. We ship to almost anywhere in the USA with overnight shipping. That is not a fake beardy, that's a real one, and that one's for sale. If you're watching this in the future, the inventory might be different, but I'd recommend you checking it out and seeing what we've got, because currently I believe there are 8 on the site. Also, I've been kind of sick myself, so if my voice sounds weird, that's partially been why I haven't uploading, and why I might sound weird, so yeah. So someone contacted us through Emerald Scales because they had a bearded dragon that they got from their father's friend that went to the army and was not caring for this dragon. She came in a 20-gallon, and there weren't a ton of details other than the fact that they, quote, weren't sure when she last ate. So basically her condition in the picture was pretty hard to tell. This is the image we were sent by the previous owner, or the kind of rescuer of her that sent her to us. The quarter was just for scale, but you can see she's just kind of lying flat. And when we unboxed her, she was completely unresponsive. And it's always iffy deciding whether certain animals should be shipped to us in the mail based on the condition that they're in, basically. And we didn't exactly realize how sick she was, so if we did, we probably would have been a lot more cautious having shipped her, because sometimes we do decline sick animals for that reason. But we went ahead and did ship her, and thankfully she did arrive alive, but barely. We very quickly set up a vet appointment with the vet that I was using, which I'm not a big fan of that vet anymore because of my experiences with some of these animals. So unfortunately, I don't like my vet now, and that is like the 6th or 7th vet that I've used. So that's kind of disappointing. I'll talk about that a bit as well. Now, because we were in a rush to just get this animal stable, you could say, I guess, or just basically keep her alive until that appointment, we got anything that we could in her nutrition-wise. So we just set her up in a tub with some really nice warmth, a water bowl that's not too deep, but not too shallow to make sure she doesn't drown in it. But she couldn't move anyway. She was unable to walk because she was just so weak. And it was pretty depressing. So we decided to kind of just get something in her. We would just make a little smoothie of what she would eat normally. We grabbed the blender, put some collards and some crickets and some water, blended it up, and put it in a syringe. We syringe fed her this really gross mix. I tried it myself. It wasn't great. I needed some sugar, but it was okay. And it was something to just kind of get a little bit of sugar in her. I think we might have put some strawberries in it as well. A little just nutrition, a little moisture, and some energy to keep her going until the appointment. We were monitoring her as closely as we could, and at some points it was impossible to tell if she was even breathing. And I genuinely thought she died like 4 or 5 times over the course of the time that we've had her, the past 2 to 3 weeks or so, because it's been really bad. Her vet appointment was set up, and we went to that. I think it was a day or 2 after calling to set the appointment up. And I was curious to see what the vet's opinion was, and it really was no different than what I expected. So they ended up prescribing her with Tazoseph, which is a type of antibiotic, and we purchased some omnivorous mix to actually like mix up in a syringe and feed her instead of just veggies. We already knew we would need antibiotics and this mix. This wasn't very helpful. The physical did nothing for her, and one of the things about this vet is although they've been one of the most trustworthy, they don't seem to be worried about cross-contamination. We brought a second animal with us that had a simple respiratory infection. All we needed was a prescription for the antibiotics, and they ended up not washing their hands in between the animals. They ended up using the same tongue depressor for the 2 animals, and they ended up using the same tub to weigh them. And unfortunately, this is not the first time they've done this. Maybe I'll go over some vet experiences, but I'm gonna kind of rant about vets quite a bit. I did a post about this on Instagram, and it was just pretty annoying and disappointing, and they weren't helpful at all. Because fun fact, Tazoseph is the drug that's been prescribed for the last 5 or 6 sick animals that I've had. They've given it to us for everything from unknown diseases to respiratory infections to injured jaws, to like exterior problems and all sorts of other just really random issues that aren't related. Basically, it's just always Tazoseph, no matter what vet I use. And so I kind of complained about this in that Instagram post, and people were like, well, yeah, because it's a drug that works for everything. Of course, like, you're gonna use it. So the vet's still right here, which I don't disagree with this, but it's kind of annoying having to pay the vet this upcharge for something that we know we're gonna have to use. So we ended up just buying a massive bottle of Tazoseph, so we just have a ton of it, and we've now been basically treating the animals that we believe needed ourselves without that vet's opinion. Now, this is very risky to do if you haven't worked with a lot of animals, but we're kind of like a small team at this point that's worked with about 300 animals or so, and so I'd say we're confidently giving the animals the right antibiotics as needed. And thankfully, the Tazoseph has worked. It's injected into their front legs and to the muscle there. It's pretty simple to inject a reptile. If you're doing it for the first time, I would recommend that you have a vet show you how to do it. And so she was put on that, and then the carnivore mix, you just mix up, put in with water, and feed it to them very slowly. So she just had a little dosage that she's been given daily. And again, even after these first few treatments, we came to find her what we believed to be dead, but she wasn't, somehow. So this has been the most stressful and most unhealthy bearded dragon that we've had yet, and it's been really sad to see her just lying there. I was thoroughly concerned that her quality of life was not worth keeping her alive for just how bad she was. At certain points, her mouth was just wide open because she didn't seem to have the strength to close it, and her tongue was literally just lying out. And so she just looked really bad throughout this whole process. But after the injections of Tazoseph continued, and the syringe feedings continued, and also daily baths to kind of get extra moisture in her, get her nice and warm, keep her clean, help her pass stool, she continued to do this. The vet actually recommended that we do blood and stool samples. I decided to opt out of blood because it didn't seem super necessary, and then I did do the stool sample, or at least I paid for it, and I was going to bring it back. But then we realized that a stool sample doesn't show a ton. It mostly shows whether an animal has parasites or not. Like, that's the number one thing they look for in a stool sample. And we were already extremely confident that the animal did not have parasites. A, the vet said it probably didn't, which again, vet opinions can be iffy. B, the animal is grown up, so usually an animal is going to be extremely stunted, and although it's still very small, it's bigger than what, like if a baby basically came in with parasites, it would stay really small because the parasites are taking most of that nutrition. It still might grow a little bit, but I'd expect it to be bigger than this. On top of that, we know that it was in captivity its entire life, so it didn't pick it up throughout its life. There were not other reptiles with this one, so we know it didn't get parasites from something else. And it was basically not fed, but then when it was fed things that would not have parasites, like captive bred insects. So basically, the stool sample was just a waste of $70, and I'm gonna ask for that money back because I didn't even bring that in, because it feels unnecessary, and she's doing a lot better now. So it was kind of a weird little just like addition onto the bill for no reason, which is kind of annoyed me a little bit. But that aside, I'm very confident she does not have parasites. It seems that she was just neglected so badly that she was so malnourished and just so neglected that she was just barely holding on to life. But she seemed to pull through pretty well. So this is how she looks now after about 2 weeks of injections and the syringe feeding and the daily baths to keep her warm and everything. And then other than that, she's just been chilling under a nice warm lamp. She's been warming up under a nice warm lamp ever since. And now we have this Beardy, and it is super cool to see the difference and super rewarding to see just how much she's changed. Now, the best part ever is when I saw her walk for the first time. It was like a little baby taking his first steps, but actually cool because babies are gross and this Beardy is not. And so her being able to walk around on her own and get to her bowl, soak when she wants, not soak when she doesn't, and be under her heating when she wants and then move away when she doesn't, that's the most exciting thing to see in this animal. So there's been a lot of different animals with pretty sad conditions that have been coming through, and I'm definitely going to show you more. But I think Ellie is one of the coolest that we've seen change so far. So I wanted to kind of go over her little adventure of near death to lively again. And you can see her now. She's moving around. She's looking around. She can keep her eyes open. She can keep her mouth closed. Lots of very nice things that we've seen, which makes me really excited for future sick Beardies. And that sounds weird because I don't want future sick Beardies. But let's be real. We're gonna get future sick Beardies. It's inevitable. It's part of what we do. It's how it's gonna be. And I'm very happy to say that we'll be confident taking in those as they come. So yeah. So Ellie is not perfect yet. I would like her to gain some weight. She still looks a bit dehydrated, and she still needs to gain more energy. Although she's kind of lively right now, I think her energy is going to be used up pretty quickly, and she's going to need a long rest after this video, which is expected because she's a recovering little baby. I don't actually know how old she is. She's not a baby. She's at least a few years old, probably. Is it even female? Yeah, it is. Okay. So my regrets and things that I would change throughout this process is I want to say I would not ship her again, but it ended up working out. So I'm happy that she was shipped to us. She came pretty far too. I believe she might have come from California or something. I might be thinking of a different Beardy, and we're in North Carolina. So it was a pretty far way to get the help that she needed, but I'm happy that we did it. I'm very unhappy with my vet right now. I'll continue bringing up my concerns to the vet, and I've just been overall extremely disappointed with all of the veterinary service that I've gotten throughout running this company. We do not have a vet on call. We simply go to vets that we trust, and usually we can get a pretty decent discount because we're considered a quote rescue. We're legally not a rescue, we're not a nonprofit, but we do rescue animals, so we get that rescue discount. And even then, it's still just overpriced. Like, for example, the stuff I get for parasites, I forgot the name off the top of my head, but it's just an oral dose of liquid that helps kill those parasites. It's like $30 for teeny tiny little doses for the animals. We can get a full bottle of it on Amazon for like 15 bucks. So a lot of it's just markup to make money. And of course, a lot of vets do care about the animals, but most certainly not all of them. So I would like to do a full video on my thoughts on veterinarians and my experiences, but this is just the most recent one because a lot of it had to do with what Ellie went through and the money that we wasted. Now, in the end, we did not waste it because everything did help her out. But there's some things that we shouldn't have done and that I won't do, for example, her fecal. Now, other than that, I'm impressed that she does not have metabolic bone disease. Her spinal structure looks good, her legs look good, her face is properly fit together, her jaw is grown in really nicely, and her eyes look super lively now. Things that I would have expected to be very different based on the husbandry that she was raised in. So this person that went to the military, I don't know if she had the right enclosure, but she was just neglected otherwise, or if everything was wrong. Because they didn't know when she last ate, which I still think is weird. So the goal is to have her up and available. We're not rushing on it. We're gonna take our time. I'm sure it'll be at least another number of weeks or maybe even a month plus or whatever to make sure she is perfect and really not gonna like relapse or anything, but it's looking good. So it's been a while since I've done a video. This hair in her mouth for some reason. It's been about 2 weeks since my last video, I think. Over 2 weeks, actually. There's been a lot going on. There's a lot of animals here, and I was also sick for like 4 days, so that didn't help. But things have been going generally very well. And a lot of the animals that you saw, or might have seen, if you haven't watched it, if you should, of the sick animals that we currently have in rehab, all of them are doing a lot better, and I'm really excited to show you those as well, and feature them in some videos. So that's Ellie, the bearded dragon that came from basically dying to this that we see here. A pretty, almost happy, maybe a little annoyed, but a pretty happy bearded dragon. If you'd like to recommend things to put on the sign, you can join the membership. Members now get 10% off all Emerald Scales animals at any time. Basically, you go to GoHerping.com/membership. You sign up for $5 a month. You can cancel whenever you want, believe it or not. I don't trap you forever. And you get those discounts. You get early access to videos. You get your name on the video, like this. And then, like I said, you can recommend things to put on the sign. There's the sign. That beardy, along with many others, are for sale at emeraldscales.com. And some of these animals are, of course, a bit pricier. Like, I think that one's over $200, and 10% is over 20 bucks on that, even though the membership is just $5. So maybe it's worth it. I don't know. The money goes towards everything here. It goes towards, obviously, my salary, along with things like these animals, and really helping them out. So it's very much so appreciated, and thanks to the members. Until then, I'm looking forward to showing you more animals that we've got coming in and getting better. So I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.